welcome back to another video. My name is Chloe and today I have a video that I've been wanting to do for quite some time now. Basically since we went on our big trip back in August where we did Caribbean Beach, went on the Disney Wish for 4 nights, and then we came back to Disney World and stayed at Polynesian. Well, on that trip when we did Caribbean Beach, we had the dining plan, the Disney dining plan, and then when we stayed at Polynesian, we stayed club level. So we have experienced both ends of the spectrum in terms of paid dining options that you can have at Disney World, and also we have done quite a few of the club level offerings at Disney World. So I wanted to just kind of give you guys a breakdown of should you do club level, should you do the dining plan, should you do both, should you do neither? And I'm going to go through all of the pros and cons of all of those different options and just kind of give you an idea of our experience and what we will be doing in the future in terms of those offerings. As always, these are just experiences that we have had, and if you want to book these options, that is your choice, and there's no reason you shouldn't if you can afford to do so. But there are some pros and cons, and if you have to choose between one or the other, which one should you choose? So let's just jump right in and get started. As a reminder, I am a travel agent that specializes in Disney vacations. So if you're looking to book a Disney vacation with a dining plan, staying club level, or any option really, I'd be so happy to help you. It is free to use me. You can just send me a message with my email that's listed below, or message me on Instagram, TikTok, whatever is easiest for you to get a hold of me. I am happy to help you plan your Disney vacation. Like I mentioned, Dan and I have stayed at quite a few of the club level offerings. We have stayed at Contemporary Resort, the Atrium Club level, not the top floor. We have done Wilderness Lodge. We have done Coronado Springs, Grandestino Tower. We have done Grand Floridian. We have done Polynesian, and is that all of them? We still need to do the Yacht Club and Boardwalk. We will get to do those at some point in our lives, I'm sure, but for now we have done a majority of them. So I do feel like we have the experiences. It's not like we've just done like a one-night stay. This has been over many, many stays that we've kind of come to this conclusion. So let me go back to the Disney dining plan. The Disney dining plan is where you pay a cost per night per person. Right now, the adult per cost per night is about $97 per person. With each night of your stay, you get 1 sit-down credit, 1 quick service credit, 1 snack credit, and then a refillable mug to be used the whole time of your stay. And most restaurants in Disney World are 1 sit-down credit. There are a few exceptions, and if you go on Walt Disney World's website, which I will show a picture here, if you click this button, it'll drop down and say how many credits the specific meal is, and some are different for breakfast versus dinner. Like Akershus in Norway at Epcot, that one is 1 credit for breakfast versus 2 credits for dinner. So there is definitely a strategy to booking your meals if you want to get the best bang for your buck, and also just paying attention to how many credits things are, because you don't want to be at the end of your trip and go, oh, I didn't realize Be Our Guest was 2 credits and now we don't have a credit to have dinner this evening, and you have to pay out of pocket. So there's a lot of maneuvering and figuring out what credits you have. Essentially, you get 1 credit per night of your stay, and you can use it as breakfast, lunch, dinner. You could use all of your credits, all of your sit-down credits in one day if you wanted. If you wanted to do like a fancy breakfast and a fancy dinner and use 4 of your credits and you were only doing a 4-night stay, that is your choice. You just have to plan how you want to use the credits. And with a sit-down meal, you get your entree, a dessert, and a drink, alcoholic or non-alcoholic. And then along with the quick service credit, 1 of those per night of each of your stay. To me, the quick service is where you can really get a good bang for your buck, because you're not tipping on top of what you're spending. So you can get your entree and then you can get a drink, non-alcoholic or alcoholic, and you can really make up some dollars back with the alcoholic drink. And then obviously you still have your snack, which if you're going during like a festival at Epcot time, those are really good places to use your dining plan credits, where you can use your dining plan snack credits, because anytime you see this little purple snack picture, that means it qualifies for the Disney dining plan for a snack credit. And a lot of the festival booths can be like $9 for a lobster tail or $8 for this little piece of steak. And so when you've already paid for the dining plan or get it for free, it just feels like you've made money by going and getting that snack. So there's definitely a lot of options with the dining plan. And if you are somebody who eats where you have a quick service, one sit down, and maybe a snack throughout the day, it's probably a good fit for you. Most of the time you're gonna break even on the dining plan. You might even pay a little bit more. Most people find the convenience in prepaying for the dining plan and not having to worry about what you're ordering off the menu because it's already been paid for. When you do a sit-down meal, you do have to pay the tip on top of that, so just keep that in mind. If you're getting the most expensive entree and you're getting dessert and you're getting an alcoholic drink, your tip's definitely gonna go up in price compared to what it might have been had you not had all those freebies and you weren't ordering as much. But really, an extra 20 bucks, you're gonna tip an extra what? $1, $2 on that. So it's really not that big of a deal at the end of the day. And you got to order what you wanted and maybe even more than what you would have, and try different things that you might not have wanted to splurge on. So there's definitely pros and cons to the dining plan. And something to keep in mind is that for 2026, if you buy the dining plan for any adults in the room, any kids 3 to 9 get the dining plan for free, which is a huge savings. Disney's never done that before. They've offered the free dining, but generally free dining has only fallen during like off seasons or the really hot months when they know they have to like entice people to come to Disney, where this is anybody who has kids in a room. If you buy the dining plan, you get it for free. There's no date requirements, there's no package requirements. It can be bundled with other discounts. So if you're going next year, that is something to definitely look into, especially if you plan on doing any sort of character dining. You usually make out when you do character dining because character dining is so expensive out of pocket, whereas if it's a 1 credit and it would have been $55 per person, you feel the benefits of doing the dining plan then. So the pros of the dining plan: either you got it for free or you've paid for it ahead of time and everything is paid for. Everything's done before you even get there. You would pay it 30 days ahead of time with your final package payment. You can add it on after that final date if you decide, hey, we really do want the dining plan, but it's just easier to add it on ahead of time and kind of pay it down so it doesn't feel like a big lump sum right before your trip. Refillable mug is super convenient to have out of pocket. I think it's like $23, $24 now. And if you are doing a split stay, like say you're doing the dining plan for the first 3 nights of your stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge and then you're moving over to Port Orleans, the refillable mug will be good for the second part of your stay. It's usually good for about up to 2 weeks. So that is a nice thing to have for your trip, or if you're doing a cruise after, it's great to bring on as a refillable drink. So you can go to the soda machines and get like a Diet Coke. That's what I would go get. So there's lots of options with the refillable mug. You cannot bring it to the parks and fill it up there. That's the only downside to it, but overall, I find the refillable mug super convenient to use. And at Caribbean Beach, in each of the villages, you can find a freestyle machine, so you don't have to walk all the way back to the lobby, which is very nice to have. When we stayed at Caribbean Beach and we were at the pool, there was like a little freestyle machine like one building over, so my dad would run over and get us all drinks and come back. And like I mentioned, another pro of the dining plan is being able to use it for character dining. Like I mentioned, Akershus breakfast is 1 dining credit, 1900 Park Fare, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all 1 credit. Artist Point, 1 credit. Topolino's Terrace at Riviera, 1 credit for the breakfast. That's like my favorite character breakfast in all of Disney World. So there are so many 1 credit options. Some of the 2 credit options would be like Be Our Guest, Narcoossee's, Cinderella's Royal Table, basically any of the signature dining. They used to have a dining plan, it was called the Signature Disney Dining Plan, and that one would get you 3 sit-down credits per day, which you could use 1 of those credits to go to a quick service, but most people would use it like for a breakfast, sit-down breakfast in the morning and then a fancy dinner at night, or vice versa. And they don't offer that anymore. I wish they would bring it back because that was Dan and I's favorite plan to do, but I can't even imagine how much that one would cost now. But they still have the Disney Dining Plan, which I'm happy that they brought that back because we had to wait a while after COVID for that to come back. Another pro would be that you can use it from the time you check, the morning you check in till the midnight the night that you check out. So if you are doing a split stay, you have that whole last day to use any credits that you have left over. And usually, even though it's per night, not per day, usually based on like traveling in and out, usually you can use like the quick service on the first day and your sit down on the last day, or vice versa. Usually you're not like wishing you had another credit. It usually works out in your favor. If you have any leftover snack credits, you can always go into the gift shop and pick up like snacks, bags of cookies, all the little snacky things that they have that have the little purple icon on there, and bring those home as souvenirs to people, or just eat on the way home if you're driving home or flying home, and have a piece of the magic with you once you get home. Another pro is that it gives you a reason to go buy the snacks that you might otherwise be like, yeah, we don't really need it. You can use it for like pops and sodas in the park, that's not a great use of the snack credit, but if that's what you want to get, by all means, it's still $4 or $5 for a bottle of pop or a Smart Water. So yeah, it can be a good use of credit. Another thing you can use the snack credits on is Starbucks. You can go all the way up to a Trenta with the Starbucks snack credit. Like I mentioned, the Epcot festivals, Mickey ice cream bars. Like, there are so many ways to use the snack credits that you just can't go wrong. Obviously, there are some cons. There may be more food than you normally eat. If you don't normally eat with a quick service to sit down and a snack in a day, it might not be worth it. Or if you're not somebody who even drinks that much soda and you won't even use the refillable mug, it might not be good for you. You can use it for coffee. I have heard if you put coffee in those that the coffee taste really kind of stays the whole time. So maybe if you're a coffee drinker and you could share with your significant other, maybe say like that one's the soda and this one's the coffee, just keep that in mind. But yeah, you can use it for coffee as well. Another pro is obviously if you get it for free with the free dining for the kids next year, or even the free dining promotions that they're doing right now for 2025. If you want to message me for a quote for that, let me know. But if you get it for free, you're eating for free. Like something you probably would have paid $500 to $1,000 and you got it for free just because you booked a stay and had a 4-day park hopper. That's a pretty good deal. So there are a lot of pros. Another con is that it kind of takes away the flexibility of just, hey, you know what? We don't really want to go to a sit down tonight. Let's just grab this quick service and go back to the room and lay down. You really have to plan out your meals when you're doing the sit downs, when you're doing the quick service, and adjust those as you see necessary, which when we were there in August, the night we went to Epcot, it was so hot. And I really didn't know if we were gonna make it to Tapanito for dinner that night. We did end up making it. It was a great meal. It was a great use of our credit because you could use the one sit down credit for the combo entrees, which like they were like $50 or $60. They were a great use of our sit down credit. But at the time I was thinking like, I don't really know if we're gonna make it, but when would we use the sit down credit? And we've already paid for it. So it can take away that flexibility. Generally, we're not that flexible when it comes to Disney planning. Like, we have our plans and it's very rare for us to stray from them. But if you're somebody who goes like, yeah, let's just pop over here and have dinner here, let's go here, this reservation's available, let's eat here, dining plan might not be the best fit for you, and that's okay. Another con is that the lounges in Disney World, now to be fair, these weren't even included on the dining plan pre-COVID. So this is a new thing for that lounges to be included on the dining plan, which when I say lounges, I mean like Kaiser Point, Bar Riva, like those types of lounges. When they're included, you would think that they'd be more of like a quick service type meal. No, they are a table service, and generally those entrees are not that expensive. So if you are planning to do a lounge, it's probably not a good use of your Disney dining plan. So I would recommend just paying out of pocket for that one. But again, there are so many pros to the dining plan. I personally would recommend it, but I know there are some people who just find it to be way too much food. They don't really like paying for possibly more than what they're gonna get out of it or more than what they would normally spend. So there definitely are pros and cons. Personally, I really enjoy it. I like having it paid for ahead of time. It makes Disney feel more all-inclusive-y to me. It feels more like the cruise where I don't have to think about what I'm ordering and I can just have it paid for and be all set. So I definitely like the dining plan. And in fact, my mom, sister, and I, and Juniper, well, Juniper's free, but on our girls trip coming up in May, we have the dining plan, and I've actually added the dining plan to me and Dan's trip in July to Fort Wilderness, just because it'll be nice to get the refillable mugs. We're gonna be going on the cruise after, so we can use the mugs there. And then we're going back to Disney and staying at Boardwalk. Again, can still use the mugs. And when we're at Fort Wilderness, it just gives us the freedom to order what we want to order, eat what we want to eat, get the drinks off the menu that we normally wouldn't order. Because when you see like an $18 margarita and you can get like a pop for $5, your brain kind of goes, let me just get the pop for $5. But if it's already paid for, then you splurge and you get your margarita. So that is my opinion on the Disney dining plan. And that was a very long-winded explanation, but there's a lot to it. Now on to Club Level. So Club Level is a specific type of room that you can book at certain Disney resorts, like I mentioned, Polynesian, Grand Floridian, Wilderness Lodge, Contemporary. Coronado Springs would be the cheapest because it's a moderate. Boardwalk and Yacht Club. And generally the Club Level rooms can run an additional $500 to $1,300 per night, depending on the room type and the time of year. The cheapest would definitely be Coronado. I don't that theirs are $500 extra, but maybe now they're probably about $300 to $400 more a night per room. And don't get me wrong, Dan and I did love the Coronado, Gran Destino Tower, Kronos Club. That was probably our favorite. It was the most chill in our opinion. The cast members were super nice and super helpful, but didn't feel overbearing and like they were just on top of us the whole time, versus Grand Floridian when we did the Sugarloaf outside building club level. It just felt so bougie to us and out of our realm of comfortableness. So it depends on what you're looking for in terms of club level. Obviously, if someone's paying the expensive prices for Grand Floridian club level, they probably want somebody who's super attentive and on top of them and pouring their drinks, whereas Dan and I were just like, we can get it ourselves. But when we went in August, we stayed at the Polynesian club level. And to me, Polynesian club level is just like a step up from the other club levels. Not in terms of service, because the service was just as great at any of the other resorts, but because it has the beautiful room that has the big glass pane windows and you can watch the fireworks from there, you can see the castle from there all day long, and it's this gorgeous air-conditioned room, which in Florida is important, and it's just looking out onto the beautiful Seven Seas Lagoon. And like I said, you can watch the fireworks, they pipe in the music, and it just takes it up a notch. To be fair, I haven't been in the Grand Floridian Royal Palms club level ever, so that one might be a little bit fancier, and you can see the fireworks from the Contemporary Atrium club level. I'm sure you can see it from the top floor as well, but something about that Polynesian big glass pane window was just super extra special, so I really liked that. The benefit again to the club level at most of the resorts is that they're in good locations. Like the Polynesian one is right next to the main volcano pool. It's close to the main lobby. The rooms are all in the same building as, well, the rooms and the club level are in a separate building, so you have to badge in to even get in there. Wilderness Lodge, you're on the top level and you can look over into the lobby. Grand Floridian, the one Sugarloaf, is an outdoor building. Again, you have to badge in to get into that one. So they all are in really cool locations. The huge pro to club level is that there's alcoholic drinks if you want them. There's wine, beer. They have dessert drinks at the end of the night. They can get you mimosas in the morning. And then there's a whole fridge of usually not waters. Usually you can ask for waters, but there's usually sodas and juices and all of those things in that little fridge, which is so nice to just be able to grab and go and just grab a Diet Coke, icy cold can of Diet Coke, and pop it in the stroller and just head on out. So that is really convenient. And then throughout the day, they do different servings. So they have a breakfast serving in the morning, and then in the afternoon, there's like a snack serving, and then there's an hors d'oeuvres serving from like 4 to 7, and then there's a dessert, like cookies and different things that you can get at the end of the night. And just throughout the day, there's always something there if you need food or you feel a little peckish. So the pro to club level is that there's just always something to eat and drink and snack on right there at your hotel that you don't have to go and pay extra for. Which brings me to my con for club level, is that if you're not spending a ton of time at the resort and you're out at the parks or you're going to other resorts or you're just not spending that much time at the resort, not really getting the benefit of doing club level. And on the flip side, if you're doing like a full resort rest day, or you're just planning on spending, like you've spent so much money on the hotel, you might as well enjoy your resort. Club level can make it feel like you're at an all-inclusive resort and you can go get a drink and bring it to the pool, or you can go get a Diet Coke and just hang out in the room and enjoy the view from your room or whatever. Those are definitely the pros, but unless you're spending that much time at the resort, I don't find the club level to be super necessary. But even if you're not spending that much time at the resort, and you're just using it for the free breakfast in the morning, because there's plenty of options to fill you up to start your day, that could be worth it, especially if you have 4 people in your room, like it's 2 adults and 2 kids, to go and buy breakfast in the quick service or at a sit down, to save all that money and have it already bundled in with your room, the club level room, and then be able to get some drinks throughout the day, come back to the resort at the end of the night, then it could be worth it. But unless you're somebody who takes advantage of the breakfast, or you're spending a lot of time at the resort, I don't know that I would recommend club level, unless you're just looking for a splurge and you just want that really cool view from your room and that really cool spot. Because a lot of the times the club level rooms do have like the best views in the hotel, which makes sense. So it's just something to keep in mind. That's not to say that we didn't absolutely enjoy our Polynesian club level stay. We loved it from the moment we checked in to the moment we checked out, and we took full advantage of our club level stay, and we spent the whole time at the resort. But it did make me feel guilty. Like, we went to Kona Cafe the first night. My brain was kind of like, well, we paid all this money for the room. Should we have just like snacked on the hors d'oeuvres in the club level? Or the last morning we went to Ohana breakfast because I really wanted Juniper to meet Stitch and Nikki and all those guys, but we could have just had breakfast for free in the club lounge. So we did go and have snacks in the club lounge, even though we were heading to Ohana for breakfast. But in the end, I'm glad that I have no regrets of doing the club level, but you do feel like a little bit of guilt going like, should we eat here? But if you can pay for it and you can afford it and you can afford to get the other food on top of it, that is totally your choice. Would I recommend doing both in a stay, like the dining plan and a club level stay? By all means, if you can afford to do it, or you can get the dining plan for free, with the free dining promotions, you will definitely be set on food between your hotel and the food and the drinks versus going to the parks and eating out in the parks. You will never go hungry. You will in fact probably need to be rolled home. But if you can afford to do so, by all means do it. I don't think Dan and I have ever done both in one stay, and if we did, it would just be a lot. But if you have somebody who likes to get a lot of beers or have a lot of wines or just wants to enjoy themselves, I think the club level can make that feel a little less hurtful towards the wallet. And if you are somebody who likes to have beers in the room, most of the time, if you want to take them from the cooler and bring them to your fridge in your room, that's not a problem. You can go and like grab a couple and put them in your room, and then you can enjoy them at your leisure if you're hanging out there or going to the pool or whatever. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know down below if you've tried out club level at any of the Disney resorts, and let me know which your favorite was if you did try it. And if you did the dining plan, what did you think? Is it something that you would do again? Was it one and done? What did you think? Because there's a lot of varying opinions on the dining plan, but that's a great thing about the dining plan is that you don't have to do it. It's totally up to you whether or not you want to add it to your Disney vacation package. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye!